Hello crafty friends, I know it's been a long time. My daughter's been sick and then I was sick, and it's taken a while for me to be able to have my voice back enough to make this voiceover. So let's get started on July's card kit. So I've taken the beachy little buggy and I've covered the entire front of my card and it is in landscape position. Then I've got a strip of the mint green, aqua green coloured paper, and I'm going to place that across the bottom. I'm being careful where I place that green strip so that there is a complete row of the little jeeps or buggies visible at the bottom of the card. Then I just chop off the little bit of excess, and now I'm coming in with two of the wave die cuts, and I'm going to attach these with glue along the bottom of that green strip. So we're going to have a continuous line of waves moving across our card on the bottom part. So first one goes in place. I'll add glue to the second one, and it doesn't matter that there is a join there in the waves because we're going to put our focal point over top of that join where the waves meet. Okay, so I have cut myself this fancy square shape out of the orange herringbone paper, and I've also used the same die to go ahead and cut it out of fun foam, and that way I can have a nice sturdy piece of paper with the foam, and it's then going to be much more supportive for the items that I'm going to place on top. So with the glue, I've got a little bit of time there to make sure I've got everything lined up and nice and even. I'm going to come in with two of the beach umbrellas, and they're going to be popped up with foam tape behind the umbrella part so that they're level with the orange paper that's on the fun foam. I'm currently just peeling off the backing tape for my next little ephemera piece that's going to go on. And that little piece is going to be the little beach buggy that I've popped up on that foam tape. And I do like to add a little bit of glue just to make sure I've got permanent adhesion there. And to finish off the card, I've taken one of the chipboard stickers and placed that on top of our two umbrellas. Card number 2, I'm using this really beautifully bright sunny paper, and I'm going to cover the entire front of my card again, and we are making this card in landscape position as well. I've taken some of the cloud paper, and that's going to be our sky background for the scene card I'm making. The yellow sunny paper is going to be our beach, and now you can see I've got various ephemera pieces around my card making area that I'm going to come in and add to my card front. So going directly onto the yellow paper is the beach towel. The beach umbrella, I have got the top part popped up with foam tape and partially down the handle of the umbrella as well, so that I can tuck it underneath the beach chair there. And then I have got a number of different ephemera pieces that I'm going to make this nice relaxed beach scene. So I figure if you're going to the beach and you're relaxing, you probably want to take a book with you. You might want a little bit of music, and that's the radio or a stereo there. Then I've die cut the word relax from out of this Tim Holtz Sizzix summer set and layered it up on white cardstock, and then used some yellow metallic paper to go on top of there. And our sentiment's going to be relax, nice sunny day. And definitely if you're going to the beach, you want to take your sunscreen. Do not want to get sunburn, and do not want to look like a lobster when you've had a day at the beach. I'm then going to go in with a second sentiment, and it's popped up on some foam tape with a little bit of glue, and I'll use my tweezers to help me there, get it in the placement, and it's going to say sunny days. That will finish my card off, and I'll just show you there from the side angle the different items that are popped up on some foam tape. Card number 3, I'm taking the lovely minty aqua green paper, and I'm going to cover almost the entire card front, and I'm leaving just about 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. I've then cut myself with a die a piece of the very pretty floral paper, and the die has on it the rounded corners, but you could use a corner chomper if you didn't have dies that did a rounded corner. Now I'm just measuring where my flower's going to go behind my paper that's backed with fun foam, and I'm going to cut my flower in half so that I can then use the other half that would normally hide behind the patterned paper and not be seen. I'm going to cut that bit off and save it so I can then have a fuller looking floral arrangement, but using half the amount of flowers that I normally would. So you're going to see me here arrange flowers, and I'm trying to vary up the colours so that we're not having all of one shade in one particular area. So my plan with this card is to have floral arrangements diagonally opposite of each other. So you can see I've started an arrangement on the top left, and now I'm going ahead and making my arrangement on the bottom right. I just like that asymmetrical balance that gives. So just playing around where I'm putting the pieces of the flower and making sure I'm happy with how they're arranged and that I can see enough of the floral, and that I'm happy with how it's positioned. I am going to bring in this bright yellow flower, so we've got some of that yellow that we see in the patterned paper also reflected on the actual flowers that are used to decorate. So just checking the positioning there, and I'll add my glue to the front, and then I'm going to slide that underneath that, or on top of the pink flower but underneath the patterned paper. Then I've got this one part of my flower left, and I'm going to add that up into that top corner there, and just have that peeking out from behind the darker pink darker pink flower. I'm then going to go ahead and I'm going to add glue to those flowers, as well as the floral panel as well. Yes, I'm using plenty of glue, and with those flowers, so it doesn't squish out from underneath, I'm just going to use my finger to smooth it over, and then we won't have any glue squishing from the back onto the front of the card. And I will make sure I've given those flowers a nice press down so it's all attached. For my sentiment, I'm bringing in a die set that I've just shown you there, and it says lots of love. So I think that's a sentiment that we could use for many different occasions. If you're not well, if it's a birthday, if you just want to say hello and let someone know that you're thinking about them, I think that's a lovely sentiment to use. Okay, so I have die cut the backing die, or the shadow die, out of gold cardstock, and I was just wondering there if it would be easier for me to try and line up where I die cut the letters from the purple cardstock to try and put them in place onto the gold cardstock. But I decided that the easiest way is probably going to be just using my eye and going from there and lining them up. What I want to do there, I'm patting the glue onto the back of the cardstock letter, And I'm doing that because I'm using gold cardstock, and when you get glue on the gold cardstock, it does leave a smudgy sort of print there. And so by just tapping off or spreading the glue out a little bit more evenly, it helps to stop that glue from getting onto the gold card. Okay, so I am going to fast forward and move on to the next part of the card, where I'm bringing in these lovely squishy puffy little hearts here, and I've had these in my stash for a little while, but they are gorgeous, and the colours on there just seem to go lovely with a number of the kits that we've had from Spellbinders. So you probably will see me use them again because they are such lovely little elements to add. So I've chosen there a like a peachy pink colour, nice lemon yellow, and now aqua green blue to add onto the front of my card. And seeing we're sending lots of love, I thought they would be the perfect little embellishment. To add some sparkles, I've got my unicorn stickles, and I'm going to place that on top of each of my squishy puffy hearts. Now the glue does stick to these really nicely, and you can still see the colour of the heart through the glue, but the glue will give you a lovely sparkle, as you can see there, and when it's dry it's even prettier. So that will finish off my card. Card number 4 and 5 are kind of like a 2-for-1 type of deal, because I've used this die to cut a swoosh through my cardstock panel, and what I've done is cut that swoosh through 2 pieces of our paper from our paper pack, and then that will give me 4 pieces of pattern paper to use on 2 cards. So I'm starting with putting the umbrella paper up on the top left side, and I've glued that down and just getting it into position. I'll do the same thing with the tealy coloured paper with all our lovely summer fun writing on it, and I'm just taking time to make sure I've lined up the swoosh in the papers correctly, and that then the borders line up with the card as well. So once I'm happy with that, we can go on with creating our focal points. So I've taken the sun, and I've got lots of foam tape on there because I don't want any sagging, and that's going to go up in the top left corner where our umbrellas are. And then I'm going to take the little tail from the chipboard stickers and bring in some more of our little beach icons from our ephemera pack. So here I've got the beach ball, and I'm just working out how things are going to layer there. So that's going to tuck underneath our beach towel sentiment. I do add glue to these chipboard stickers. I just feel the glue on them isn't always secure. And now I'm going to go about adding on the rest of our fun little icons for the beach. So we've got our swimsuit there, and I can tuck that underneath the towel. My glue's still wet, so it's allowing me to do that. And now we've got our beach shorts or swimmer shorts, and I'll add those as well, lifting up the towel and just arranging it so that you can still see what everything is there. So I want to add some more detail and dimension to our sun, so I'm using some touch of gloss from Pink and Main. You can use whatever gloss medium you have, and I'll go through and add gloss to the little sun rays coming out of the sun, and a little down there on my beach ball. I've also brought in one of our little shells, and I'm going to add that to the bottom right corner because I want some of the yellow to reflect the sun up in the top. And there we have our asymmetrical design all finished. So card number 5, we're going to use the other pieces left from where we cut out the swoosh, but this time I've put one of our pieces of patterned paper, the one with all our fun summer sentiments. I've topped that or backed that with a piece of foam, and that's going to raise up that piece of patterned paper, while I'm leaving the other part of our paper, the umbrellas. I'm going to leaving that flat with no dimension, but tucking that nicely into the curve of our swoosh. Okay, so now let's decorate. I have got our 3 little surfboards. I'm adding that there. I'm then going to add in some more of our little elements and place them where I'm happy. So on goes that one, and then we have our next little piece. Place that on top, and then I'm going to bring in a sentiment that I've stamped from a stamp set in my stash, and it says chill out. I thought that was pretty perfect for a warm summer's day, and that's going up in the top corner there. And then to add more detail and help bring in some more of the colours from those elements, I've cut myself a range of different fishtail banners just to go and add some more interest up there over that sentiment. And I just think it's a really fun little touch. And there I've deliberately cut that banner, so we've got that little beach buggy showing up there in the banners as well. I just thought that was a neat little touch. I've also pulled out from our ephemera one of the sentiments that says sunny days. I've trimmed that left edge so I can tuck it closely to the raised paper pattern, and I've also placed it on some foam tape so it's lifted up to the same level. I've got my touch of gloss, and I'm just going in now and adding a little bit of shine to some of our elements. So we've got our beach bucket covered in our touch of gloss, and then I'll also add it to our sunny days. And just getting that nice and even there. To add a little bit more decoration, I've got some of our enamel dots, and I'm bringing them in a range of colours and organising those on the card, sort of in triangular patterns and in an odd number of grouping. That doesn't come out right. An odd number grouped together. So that card's all finished. Card 6, I'm bringing in this delicious ice cream paper. I'm going to cover the entire front of our card base, and I liked the striped patterned paper, but I wanted a little bit of shine, so I've got my Love from Lizzie peel-offs there, and I've just cut pieces to go along the joins of where the colours meet. I'm then taking that patterned paper and I'm going to layer that on top of a piece of the light pink cardstock. And this is then attached to the left hand side of our card. Then I have got myself a piece of the pink patterned paper, and I've heat embossed a sentiment on there, and the sentiment is from a stamp set in my stash, and it says, rub off my pencil marking. It says, to a friend, it's both sweet and cool. And I thought that was so perfect for the paper that we're using. And I think it's a pretty nice sentiment to send to a friend as well. So I'm lining that up there so I can attach it to my card front, and that excess piece I will snip off. And my sentiment's ready to go. Now I'm bringing in some of our ice cream ephemera, and I'm lining them up on my card to make sure that 3 of the icons will fit on the front, and they do. So I'm starting with my middle little ephemera piece, and it's that gorgeous rainbow in a cone. I think that would be awesome to be able to have an actual ice cream that looks like a rainbow in a cone. And now I'm going to go ahead and add on the other two delicious looking ephemera pieces. So that will go over my front. And looking back, I think I would have liked to have placed the last piece, the blue glass, somewhere where the ice cream cone shows just a little bit more. But it's glued down and I can't take it off, and it still looks okay. So now to finish off, I'm bringing in some of our little fruit ephemera pieces, because I think fruit with your ice cream or topping on your ice cream is very cute and also delicious. Now to finish off or add some sparkle, I've got that unicorn Stickles glitter glue, and I'm going over top of our rainbow on our cone. I'll then add some little sparkle details to some of the icons or parts of each of the ephemera pieces. So we've got the glitter element featured on all of our pieces. And then I'll add a little bit of gloss and glaze. Sorry, I've been using gloss and glaze on the glass element. So the glass dish for the ice cream and for the what I think is a milkshake or thick shake. And that'll give the glass a nice shiny reflective surface. Now I'm going to bring in some of those lovely enamel dots, and I'm just popping those where they're going to stand out nicely on that striped pattern paper. And that will finish off our card. I think it's very cute and very sweet. I hope you like it as well. Our next card, I'm taking this gorgeous starfish paper, and because it's got that darker background, I'm going to use that as the background for the scene I'm going to build. And you can see I've cut my paper, so we've got about 3/8 of an inch of border around my paper. I'm using that dark starfish paper as my sky. And it could be a night scene, but it also could be a day scene. I guess if you want stars in the sky, that's probably a night scene. And I'm going to come in and add all of these little beach huts to my background. So I've got the orangey coloured paper, using that as like my sand, beach sand. I'm layering my houses so that they're giving a little bit of an illusion of perspective, so that we look like our beach houses or beach huts are going further back into the distance towards the sky. So just placing the last one on top, and I thought these little huts were so very cute. I'd love to have a little beach hut like this, somewhere nice that you could go for the summer. Then you can see I'm just making sure they're attached, and I'm bringing in the sun. So I've turned what I was going to start off as a night sky into a sunny summer sky. And then I've also got our signpost, and I'm going to attach that to the bottom left of the card. And I just really like all the words there that we have on that, and I think it relates nicely to a nice summer scene at the beach. Just attaching my sun there to the top so it fits in between the sign and that first beach house. I've got my chipboard little beach buggy, which is all packed up with all the essentials for a great day at the beach or a great stopover at the beach. And then to give some more dimension, I'm coming in and adding a touch of gloss to the windows, because windows would have that nice reflective shine on them. And then I'm going to highlight the little flags above the beach huts and on the beach hut. And then I'm going to come in and add a little of the gloss to our sign. And then finally, I'll add the touch of gloss to the center of our sun. And here's a close-up look at the finished card. I think it's a very cute scene. And for our last card, I'm using this very cute fish paper, and I'm going to have a little bit of fun with this card, and I'm going to turn it into a shaker. So my fish paper is going to cover the entire front of my card. I've cut myself a frame out of that wavy blue paper, and I'm going to use that as like my ocean scene. And you can see there I've also cut out a piece of acetate and made myself a window in the front of that blue blue paper, and layered it with foam. And now I've got these cutest little fish clay embellishments, and I'm going to add those into my shaker. I'm also bringing in a mix of white beads and sequins to add into there, and then I've got the same in the like an aqua teal color, but I'm trying there to get the smallest pieces, not lots of the large gems. I want the fish that's swimming around in there to be our focal point. The clay pieces and the other sprinkles, which are called doodads, come from Buttons Galore. So they're available in a range of different colours, and they're just really gorgeous mix of little pieces in there. As you can see, they're lovely. And I'm now putting on my shells in the bottom left corner, and this is where I'm going to create my like landing zone for my main sentiments there. So I've got my 3 shells in those pretty bright pinks, peach, apricot and yellow, matching back with the colours of the fish in the paper, and as well as my doodads. And I'm adding in our fishing rod, and I'm going to then bring in one of our little fish from our ephemera pack, and just smoothing out the glue because I don't want that to squish out and leave a mark on the acetate there. So I'm arranging it so my fish is swimming up to that hook and checking it out. I've then stamped and cut a fishtail banner for my sentiment, which is just fishing for some news. And I thought that's a really fun way to get in contact with someone you haven't seen for a little while and let them know that you're still thinking about them and want to keep in touch. So to finish off, I've added just a couple more of the little ephemera fish swimming along there to fill in our area. And that's our very fun and very cute shaker card. I really like this card, and I've got someone in mind to send it to. So that's all 8 cards. Let's go back and have a look at our finished cards now that all the glue and embellishments are dry. And I hope you've enjoyed the cards I've made today. We've got lots of little scenes. We've got some nice cards that just focus on the sentiments. But it was a really lovely beach, fun summer set that we've been given this month from Spellbinders, and it was really fun to use the papers and elements that we were provided in the kit. And I hope if you've got the kit that you've had lots of fun playing with it as well. And I hope to see you back again soon. If you haven't subscribed, I would really appreciate you considering subscribing. And to those of you who are subscribed, thank you very much for joining me. And thank you again to everyone who gives the thumbs up or leaves a comment. I really do appreciate that. And it lets me know that you've enjoyed what I've presented to you. So thank you again. I hope to see you again very soon. And until then, have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye bye for now.